And here in Green Country, NAACP members open up about the fight for racial equality 50 years after King's I Have a Dream speech. In our continuing coverage, 2 News multimedia journalist Rico Bush shows us that the fight to fulfill his dream continues right here in Northeast Oklahoma.
Well, Max, 50 years after Dr. King's speech ignited a civil rights movement, making a historic change, civil rights leaders say more needs to be done for complete equality.
I have a dream today.
As thousands descended on the nation's capital to mark the anniversary of the 1963 Civil Rights March, Derek Reed says he's still fighting for equality here in Oklahoma.
Courage can't skip our generation.
He is the president of the NAACP chapter in Muskogee and also heads the Martin Luther King Center there. Derek says the task to eliminate inequality is still not finished.
We've come a long way. You know, we can't forget the dream. We must remember the dream. We've come a long way, but yet and still, in 2013, we have a lot of work left to do. It's time for us to stand up and continue to fight.
While Derek expressed optimism about the future and says progress has been made, he remains disappointed that after 5 decades, so many issues are still not resolved.
I'm very disappointed. We're still 50 years later, still struggling and fighting for some of the same things that were before us back then.
But in spite of his frustrations, he maintains courage and says hope shines through all the struggles.
I wouldn't dare stand here and say that progress has not been made. We've come a mighty long way.
But he believes the founding principles of this great nation is not yet fulfilled.
When it comes to our generation, it's time for us to continue to march, and today was a wake-up call that we still must continue to fight for freedom.
And the work for equal justice, he says, is only beginning.
His work was not in vain, but the struggle still continues. Our marching days are far from over.
And Max, Derek says a lot of work still needs to be done in the African American community, and issues like gun violence, education, and health care needed to be addressed. Rico Bush, 2 News, works for you.
Rico, thanks. Tomorrow morning, you can catch a special broadcast of Meet the Press. It's the original broadcast from August 25th, 1963, and features Dr. King and Roy Wilkins, the executive director of the NAACP. The show will air at 5:30 tomorrow morning.